We get a little too rowdy in here sometimes. I figured as much. It's that one down there in the middle.
Yeah.
He's the one that'll get out of hand.
Me?
The one in the middle.
What I do?
That's the one you gotta watch.
I'm great.
And neither have
Enjoying
we.
my summer coaching baseball.
Good. I just keep missing you.
Am I a candidate?
No, you're already.
Are you a candidate?
Select jurisdiction. Hottest.
Well, I will tell y'all, had it not been for our lovely mayor, I would have never known y'all had to do that. That's something I've got on like my goal sheet
Some of it you do, but I didn't know.
every year.
Cartersville City?
You're elected.
I thought you were up for
Your election
re-election.
year.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And so when he told me, and I didn't believe him.
Yeah, I would have.
But I called and I'm like,
Here we go. How about
that's true.
Got it right.
And they're like, yeah, every year by June 30th. And I'm like, well, all right. And they're like, well, it's not your responsibility.
There it is.
And I'm like, well, I know that, but I'm the type of person I
We
want to
found
let
it.
people know.
I got it.
Thank you.
We got about 45 seconds. If y'all make sure your
find it?
on position, please.
Oh, that's a big number.
Got this little barrier here. Infringing
Okay.
upon me tonight.
Thank you.
That's right.
I'll look for mine in case you do need it. I mean,
Well, if it's on your paperwork from last year, then
I don't work.
I mean, that's impressive.
well, you were up for re-election last year.
You
so
might have needed
it
to
might
look
be.
up
All right, here we go.
Oh.
Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you will please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Join me as we pray. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this week, and that we are coming out of a July 4th celebration. We once again want to give thanks for our country, for our freedom, and those who have fought and died for that, for us to have that privilege, even tonight, to exercise the privileges of being a municipality and to do the work of this great city. So go before us and give us wisdom and knowledge as we make these decisions, and we'll give you the praise of the Lord for what's done. And it's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just take the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Carrie Roth, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Ty Friend, Ward 6.
So close yet so far. First order of business is the approval of our June 16th meeting minutes. Council, y'all have had the opportunity to review these for a few days now. Now would be the chance to make any edits to those. If there are none, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Model home permits, Mr. Menino.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a minor amendment to our model home permit ordinance. It eliminates the last sentence that required a final plat. With that, this is the second reading. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Randy on this item? Any discussion? If there's none to be had, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mayor Pro Tem Cooley will be handling the next item. I will be back when you're done.
Good evening. Item number 2 is a first reading of an ordinance pertaining to 2-hour parking.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, the city was approached by a local business on Church Street to ask and request for basically 4 spots there to be 2-hour parking limits. Particularly when Cartersville High School is in session, they have high school students park along Church Street there, taking up all the available spaces. When this first came to my attention, got with Tommy Sanders and Chief McCann and looked at other areas within the downtown area, and we provide 2-hour parking and some 15-minute parking spaces for other local businesses. So had Mr. Lovell draw up an ordinance to make that change there to allow this. So this is the first reading of that ordinance that would allow 4 spaces, 2-hour parking along Church Street there. That'd be my recommendation, City Council.
And I do know during the discussion session, y'all mentioned y'all would probably like that during business hours. So I will amend that and have that on the draft that will be presented to y'all for the second reading for your consideration.
Thank you.
At this time, are there any more discussions? And if not, being this is the first reading, it will be formally voted upon in the second council meeting. We'll move on to item number 4.
Go ahead.
All right, this is a resolution request. This is the first we've had in our ordinance since 2012 when this was put in. If you recall, zoning case number Z22-01 was a proposed town home development off of Center Road. That application was denied by Planning Commission and Council. Our ordinance requires 12 months before the applicant can resubmit the same request. State law does allow down to 6 months, but again, our ordinance does state 12 months. There is a section in the ordinance that does allow council by resolution to reduce that to less than 12 months all the way down to 6 months. And the applicant has provided a letter in writing requesting that that reduction occur to allow them to reapply. I know it's not a public hearing requirement. Applicant representative is here if y'all would like to ask him any questions. But with that, we are presenting the resolution with no recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Randy? Thank you. I did speak with Mr. McPherson earlier, and he would like to speak. So if you would like, sir, please step forward. And again, for our clerk, name and address.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Robert McPherson, 862 Devonwood Trail, Marietta, Georgia, 30064. Thank you again. I represent the owners of the property, Merrill Properties, and we just wanted to take a few minutes to request the City Council to allow us the opportunity to come back before the board in 6 months as opposed to 12 months for the rezoning. In working with Merrill Properties, we had worked with the city staff trying to develop a plan that we thought was very compatible to the area from a zoning standpoint, from a lot of the engineering questions that came up. There were only a few questions during the Planning Council meeting that propped up. There was 1 or 2 that we were unexpected and didn't know, so we tried to answer those questions and present those back to this board. And then there were a few questions that came up through the board's process, and we felt like that we were moving fairly well and that there weren't really any major issues. And then when the council decided to vote against the zoning, we didn't really understand what the rationale or the reasons behind that request were. And what we're hoping is that we can work through the city staff and certainly any neighbors to try to come up with a plan that really does work and that meets our clients' needs as well as the city's needs, as well as particularly first-time home buyers' needs. And so for those reasons, we would like to request that the city grant us that ability to come back in 6 months and possibly present a slightly different plan if that's what we need to do to really come up with something that works well for everybody as opposed to waiting for an additional 12 months. At the time we presented, I am not an attorney, I'm just an engineer, and I'm not aware of some of the legal things. We understood that we should have appealed that process at that meeting, but that's not something I certainly was not aware of. And I'm more than welcome to answer any questions and would certainly glad to do so.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions from council relative to the request?
I have a question for Keith. Would they go back to the planning commission or directly?
Oh, they would go, it would be just like a brand new request. They go through planning and then they would come to y'all eventually.
Is there a, are you looking to redo the plan that was submitted before? Change the product, or you're just looking for another opportunity to
I
bring
think that would be one of our major things, is to try to work with staff to sort of figure out what was wrong with it, what we need to do to make it so that it's something that we can all approve and be happy with.
So you don't have that plan now? You're
No, sir, I don't have anything at this point. We're just simply asking for the request to do so within this, to reapply for 6 months out.
In this letter, it said, it actually had a couple of requests.
Yeah, the other request, they would have to file themselves with Superior for.
Okay.
Yeah, those other matters aren't for y'all's consideration. They in there said they may want to file an appeal of y'all's decision with Superior Court. But I think it was more of their attorney laying out all their options and informing the city of them. And I think what they really want is y'all to just change the time period. That they can resubmit a new request before y'all from 12 to 6 months.
Any other questions?
This zoning was, this ordinance was changed in 2012?
It was changed in 2012, but we've always had, council has always had the ability to waive that time period if they want to. And y'all have done that in the past. Planning commission it normally happens in front of planning commission much more than it does y'all. When planning commission tends to deny a request, sometimes, like this gentleman said, people want to go back to the drawing board and draw something up and don't want to wait 12 months to resubmit it to the city. They would prefer to do it quicker. So planning commission a lot of times will grant those types of requests.
The change in 2012 was the procedure we had.
Right.
To go from 6 to 12 months would go before the Board of Zoning Appeals prior.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. McPherson?
Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
sir.
appreciate it.
And council, I know it's a little unorthodox to have somebody present to you ahead of a resolution, but occasionally being a little unorthodox to make sure that you get all the information and questions before you make a decision, I think is the wise and prudent thing to do, and that's what we did tonight. So that being said, this is certainly up for further discussion amongst council or staff, and or at any time, as we usually say, a motion is in order.
Something to clarify, and I might have missed this, but is this just for this one item, or is this permanent, we're changing this?
No,
across
this
the board?
is just for this one zoning request on this one piece of property. Nothing else.
I make,
Well, it looks like there's more discussion. Go ahead.
I'll just make a motion.
Okay.
we got a hand raised.
Well, since we've already had a public hearing, if you want to step forward. And again, your name and address for our clerk.
My name is David Hulsey, Hulsey, 226 South Bartow Street. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As a dispassionate observer of these proceedings for the last few weeks, I too have to tell you that when this gentleman's request was denied, I was a bit confused myself and was really wanting to ask the question, because it appeared on the surface that he was either addressing all previously aired concerns or was in the process of addressing any previously aired concerns. My 2 cents worth adjusted for inflation, if this gentleman's asking for the opportunity to re-present this just in that shortened 6-month time span, I personally, as a citizen, am in favor of it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
We did have, and Mr. Stepp, Councilman Stepp, you were in the process of making a motion before you were going to speak,
Yes, sir.
so I'll yield the floor to you unless there's more discussion or if you still.
I was gonna make a motion to approve, allowing it within 6 months. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed, like sign?
No.
Okay, motion carries 4-1.
And just so everybody's clear, that 6 months runs from the date of denial by the council at the last meeting, I believe it was.
Okay. And so, Mr. Medina, if you would get with the representative to see if... Thank you. Perfect. Thank you for that. City View Annual Software Maintenance.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is the Planning and Development Department's software we use for licensing permits, code enforcement, and so forth. This is just our annual maintenance invoice, $20,869. It was a 3% increase from the previous year.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Randy. Mr. Porter, you have the next three, I believe.
Yes, Mayor. The first item is the money purchase plan with ICMARC. Basically, this is our deferred compensation plan we offer to our city employees. Some recent IRS regulation changes been made, and we need to update our agreement with them. So there's a resolution before you with some additional paperwork that I recommend approval of the resolution, and the mayor and city clerk sign also the supporting documentation with that.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Continue on,
The
Dan.
next item is the cyber insurance policy renewal. When things that we had last council meeting, we're still working with getting a competitive quote. We were able to work with Travelers, get a competitive quote for $13,401 for cyber insurance coverage, and I recommend approval of that.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
The last item is USIS contracts, our third-party administrator for our workers' comp insurance. It's annual coverage that we have to process claims at $10,147.50. I recommend that for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion on that item? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Hampton? Surprised you? Blame Sydney.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Here requesting authorization for your approval to purchase a 48-foot bucket truck. This is a replacement for an existing unit we have. Oh, Randy. Oh, okay. I had a photo. I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. That's basically what it would look like. It's a replacement for a unit we bought. It's actually not that old, but it's been lemon. Basically, it's stuck our guys up in the air a few times. One time in front of Keith's old office. Had to call somebody to get them down. It's just had a lot of problems. So basically, we've kind of avoided using it in higher areas just so somebody gets stuck. They're not that far up in the air. So we're looking to replace that one with a new unit. It's a 48-foot. It's a little bit taller, but it's a better built truck. And the Altec is the trucks we usually buy. We've kind of standardized on them. We've got a local rep that's right here in Cartersville, so we get really good service on them. They take care of us well. And the cost of the truck was $253,033. We asked for a cost not to exceed of $265 to cover the cost of the customization in the truck that we experienced when we bought the underground trucks. So we know there's a little bit additional that comes in at the end, and this is a budgeted expense. The truck wouldn't be delivered until 2025, so we'll be using reserve funds. We'll be kind of sitting them back over the next 3 years to minimize the hit on an annual budget all at one time.
I should have asked this in the work session, but how old is the truck that we're replacing?
I think it's a 2012, if I remember correctly.
Pretty happy with the service life you got out of it prior to giving you trouble?
No, so that truck, we did not like it from day one. I mean, it was a year they first started doing that new, the exhaust system, the regenerative, whatever they call it, an exhaust system. and it had all kind of engine problems. It was some new technology came out, and everybody that bought one hated it, but that's all you could get that year.
Yeah.
And then we've also had problems with the hydraulics on them also. So it was literally just a bad year to buy a truck. Of course, you never find that out until after you buy it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion? And if there's not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next one, please, Derek.
All right, thank you. Yes, the next item is a request and authorization to purchase a mini excavator. That's the model right there, VIO 55. This is the similar unit to the last one we bought. It's replacing an older 2008 model. Looks exactly the same, except this one has a closed-in cab for safety reasons when we're mulching on the right-of-ways. It protects the guys from flying sticks and debris from coming into the cab and hitting them in the head. Vermeer is the sole provider for that unit in the area, and they gave us a quote of $74,000 and is a budgeted expense.
Thank you.
We can have it in 2 weeks. I was
You
going to say
said
we can
2
have it in
weeks.
2
Yeah,
weeks.
it's important because
yes.
the other one's got much longer lead
Yeah.
time. Any other discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
sir. Mr. Greer, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is for a purchase of a plotter for GIS. This is the one we use to print all of our maps and large format drawings. It's replacing an 8-year-old plotter. This is from Repro Products for $9,375. It's not a budgeted expense, but it is coming out of SPLOST 2020, and we recommend this for your approval.
Okay. Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Stephen.
The next item is the purchase of Office 365 for all city employees. This is from CDWG for a total of $62,145.90, and it is a budgeted item, and we recommend for your approval.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Is
Make a
this an
motion to
annual
approve.
purchase?
It is an annual charge.
And what do they use now? Do they use?
We use Microsoft Office, but we use a different type of licensing. Microsoft's moving to a subscription-based model, and this will also put our email into the cloud and get it off of our servers so that we can.
Basically, the latest technology is you no longer buy that software and own it, and after 3 or 4 or 5 years, you have to buy a new one.
Right.
That is going to be in the cloud, as Stephen mentioned. It's going to be an annual cost going forward for us, but it's just the way every software company and manufacturer is moving forward. So.
Right.
I understand.
Any other questions? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Last one for you, sir.
Okay, this item is for a fiber pathway installation. This is for construction and installation of pathway in 5 different locations from between the water treatment plant on 41 and the Red Top connector. This is a budgeted expense from NCI for a total of $36,910. This is actually going to be paid out of SPLOST. And we recommend this for your approval.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Forsythe, you are the next contestant. Actually, while you're making your way up, council, I'll entertain a motion to add 4 items to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
4 items added. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. Thank you, Sidney.
Yes, sir. The first one is a air compressor for our water treatment plant sludge removal process. The compressor we currently have is gone. Doesn't work anymore. We're using some temporary small compressors currently. We requested quotes for replacement compressor. The low bid was Ingersoll Rand for $9,640. Is a budgeted maintenance expense. Recommended for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Continue.
Yes, sir. The next one is a 150 horsepower gearbox. This is one of our spares that we have at the wastewater plant for our 8 million gallons of digester capacity. The spare needs to be rebuilt as it was removed from our old processes. So in order for it to be a ready spare, it needs to have new seals and bearings and gears reworked. We requested quotes and received one from Cole Technology for $54,778.04. Just for your information, I did request a quote for a complete replacement gearbox, and that is $145,000, and it takes 46 weeks to build that. So I recommend this repair for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Make a motion to approve the recommended repair.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yes, sir, and the final one is instrument service for the water pollution control plant. These are both installed and benchtop monitoring instruments for the wastewater plant. These were all installed and delivered in the latest water pollution control plant upgrade project. This will be an annual expense, but it is for calibration, maintenance, and it does include repairs, minor repairs if any are needed, from the manufacturer Hawk, and that is an annual cost of $15,663.45. Recommended for your approval. It is a budgeted maintenance expense.
All right. Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Mr. Morgan, you are up.
This is a request to move forward with a proposal from Reeves Young. We requested proposals back a couple of months ago for the construction manager at risk project for the water department administrative complex. We received 9 proposals. We interviewed 3, and Reeves Young was selected by the committee. We're requesting approval to move forward with them as a construction manager for this project.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion or questions on this item? If there are none, motion is in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so
unanimously.
much.
Thank you. Mr. Lovell, you have the next item.
Yes, Mayor, this is an encroachment agreement which would allow the owners of the newly developed Jackson Farm subdivision to run irrigation to the islands that are in the middle of Silo Drive, so the plantings that they plan to put there won't die. That is recommended by staff for your approval.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We will now move on. We have a public hearing for the renewal of the Business Improvement District. Do you want to add any context to that?
Basically, as council knows from the last meeting, the Downtown Development Authority has submitted a proposal to renew or adopt a new bid district for downtown, which is a business improvement district, which will involve a small ad valorem tax increase for the businesses downtown. Part of the process is that we do have a public hearing to allow any member of the public that wishes to comment on the bid to come forward before council. If after the public hearing, council can take whatever is said under advisement, and at your next 2 council meetings is when the ordinance for consideration of adopting the bid district will happen. I will state that pursuant to y'all's instructions, the bid district was submitted to all the city departments for their review, and all the departments replied back that they had no concerns or issues with it.
And we got to this, this is basically, after this kind of affirms that that there was 51% of either the property owners or 51% of the
total ad valorem tax value of there, and it's 51% of the business property owners. It doesn't include the residential.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Do you know how much the funds, the amount of funds that are raised for this? I don't have that.
I don't, but I think Ms. Reed is present. She might have that information for you.
We'll just kind of make you the start of the public hearing. How about that?
Oh, well, I'd like to speak on behalf of the 51% of our downtown that supports this petition. And we raise about $24,000 annually, depending on collections through this tax.
And that's used for?
It is legally required to be used for either capital improvements or promotion of downtown. It also funds our Business Improvement District grant. As an aside, that has reseeded $95,000 worth of money back into downtown with its associated multipliers since I've been here in 2016.
Great, thank you. We'll continue on the public hearing, or did you have something else you wanted to add?
I just figured I was the next item up, so
Oh,
I'll
no,
just stay here.
we're going to give somebody else an opportunity to perhaps speak, and that may happen or it may not. We're getting ready to find out. Anybody else wishing to step forward and make comment relative to the Downtown Business Improvement District may step forward and do so at this time. And lo and behold, nobody else stepped forward, so we'll close the public hearing. Again, as Mr. Lovell stated, there's no vote on this, and this will just move the
process along.
Thank you very much. Ms. Reed, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I have two resolutions in front of you for consideration of festival zones. The first is on behalf of Intercultural Festival. The event organizer is here with us today. It is a request for a Sunday festival zone, and that would have been in front of you sooner. I just wanted to make it clear that I did give erroneous advice to our applicant. I was under the impression that Sunday festival zones were not allowed in alignment with the downtown entertainment zone rules that we have in place, but our ordinance does not specify, and you guys were gracious enough to hear this in front of you today.
Okay. I guess I'll ask you as opposed to the applicant, but is there any special reason why this has to be on a Sunday and not a Saturday?
You know, my understanding from speaking with Ms. Sweeney is that it is largely a matter of the cost of, you know, getting entertainment bookings and associated festival infrastructure on Saturdays versus Sundays. It's just a slightly less expensive venture.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Reed? Okay.
So have they had alcohol at this festival before?
They have not. They've had this event before. It was also held on a Sunday last year. So this would be the first alcohol event that this organization would be putting on downtown.
And what are the plans? I think this has been discussed before, but with that festival zone being downtown, and the entertainment zone not being in
Right.
they have the understanding of where those boundaries are?
Yeah, so the map that we've submitted with the resolution just dictates for our Friendship Plaza area. And then in accordance with the ordinance, we do have the signage that would be mandated to put out. I have informed Ms. Sweeney that we have that signage requirement, and then the police security as a requirement for any alcohol event that we have downtown.
Okay, and so then, like the wristbands, whatever.
The wristbands,
all
the carding, all of that is included in the ordinance, and that is something that they actually sign their agreement of point by point when they do their event application with us.
Any other questions of Lily? I would like to ask the applicant, you said Ms. Sweeney.
Constanza Sweeney.
Can you please come forward, ma'am?
Good evening, everybody.
Hi. For our clerk, if you can please give your name and your address.
Yes, sir. My name is Claudia Constanza Sweeney. My address is 23 Green Apple Court, Taylorsville, Georgia, 30120.
Thank you. I guess my question would be relative to what Councilman Roth said, relative to making sure you understand that having this event on a Sunday when we don't have an entertainment zone, that the restriction, or I guess the requirement that any alcohol that would be served at this event is going to stay inside that restricted zone, and that you are responsible should any of that not happen.
Yes, sir. And I would like to say something about it.
Sure.
I wanted to explain this because usually all my events are cultural, And I wanted to introduce the events totally free admission. The money that how I pay the event is reaching people and sponsors to pay the event. And sometimes I put money from my pocket. But I had a mission that through culture we can say, you know, we can be multicultural and diversity. In this case, I asking for the alcohol because I don't have more options. I'm gonna bring the national police from Colombia. It's 25 musicians, and they are national police from Colombia. They had an orchestra. This is very important, and I bring something beautiful to Bartow County, to this city. And since last year, you can see probably in the newspaper, if you have been in one of my events, you wanna see that is culture. I bring people from everywhere, and that is my principal thing, make a bridge between communities. But in this case, I don't have more options because I don't have enough money to pay this. The national police, we have to pay for everything of them. I went to the Miss Ellen, what is the name?
Archer.
Yes, and she donated the booths for them because they reached me 3 weeks ago, and then I already had part of what I have to pay because I already had the event. The event was smaller than this. But when the police from Colombia called me and said, we had an international orchestra, and then I said, what? Yes, because this is good for any place. And then I am very responsible person. It was for me, I don't have the liquor license because for me, I think it's good for the family enjoy without liquor and that kind of stuff. But I think, and what I hear is that when you sell liquor, you have more money. Then I'm going to have probably more money to finish to pay what I have to pay. And then I don't going to have, you know, to take out money from my pocket. All the sponsors that I have, the majority, are from outside. I was on vacation and I was asking money from everybody, from Tennessee, from Dalton, from Greenville, from Atlanta. And from here, I had only Tarascos and smaller business. Last year and this year, I was asking at least the people can help me to promote the event. I am a non-profit organization, but also I am an LLC. But my intentions is like growth through community. And I have 2 kids, and I want to give them. It's like, it's something personal more than nothing. I have a passion, but I have the opportunity. I have working with ambassadors, consulates, and everything. And when these kind of opportunities appear, it's because we have to do it. We have to make it happen. And Cartersville is beautiful. And we need this kind of events, diversity. You know, the United States is so beautiful. We need to promote that, but we have to be like together. And I stand by all of us under one flag, a peace flag. And that is what I'm telling you. For me, if I wish that you can give me the liquor license, and I am very responsible person, because I am doing this with my heart, with my family, with my friends, with the community. And welcome everybody to come. But it's the only reason that I asking for the liquor license, because it's the way that I'm gonna finish to pay that. This is very expensive event. That's it. Any questions? I will be.
Perfect.
And I have the papers from the National Police that you can read if you want.
I believe you. So thank you. Is there any other questions, Ms. Sweeney?
Not a Ms. Sweeney. I do have a question, Ms. Drake. Has it been submitted to y'all's office and all the paperwork's in order if the council approves it?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Thank you. And I appreciate your efforts, and I'm glad you're bringing that to our community, or that you're trying to bring that to our community. We'll find out in just a second if you're going to have alcohol in it or not. So, thank you.
It has been hard.
I understand.
And it has been very hard. I wanted to reach you, Mr. Major, Mr. Porta, and you are always busy. And I wanted to make a bridge, and I want to be part of that change, Northwest Georgia and Georgia. Let me do it, please.
Thank you. Council?
I just want to make sure that we don't make it, I know we don't set precedent here, but I think
No.
it can, you know, we see the progression of that issue, I think. But I've been down to the cultural events that have been down there. I believe it was maybe your organization, I don't know, it was the, I don't know if it's Columbia or not, but you know, they had the dancers and the machete dancing and all that stuff. It's a really great time. I mean, and so I've been to it, so no doubt it's a great time. I, just really want to make sure that the downtown, the DDA, or make sure that we hold to, the lines that we've set. I think that's the biggest thing. Because I don't want it to get, because it can create other issues if we don't hold that line, so.
I agree. Center of the discussion. Any other questions of staff? And if there are none, a motion may or may not be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, next item, Ms. Reed.
All right, I have another festival zone request for consideration. This one is for July 22nd. It is a Friday evening event to fundraise for Bless Coalition. It's a Boil and Jam being headed up by Josh Brock, and it'll be from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Also in the Friendship Plaza area, so the same festival zone.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? He didn't care enough to come here? I'm just kidding. We're happy. I know Josh isn't listening, but we're happy to have you with us.
He just has that much faith in
Chair will
us.
entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
I have,
Mayor, before we go to the last item, Ms. Sweeney?
Yes, sir.
Make sure you meet with Ms. Reed, who will finalize everything with respect to holding the festival and making sure all the signs and you understand all your obligations. And also make sure you meet with Ms. Drake or somebody at her office tomorrow to get all your permits and everything taken care of.
I wanted to tell you, I had like 20 years of experience doing this, and the first thing is safety, and security,
Yeah.
and respect.
Understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just make sure you coordinate with those two people and get it taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
in light of new information that came up during the meeting, I'm going to recuse myself from this following item, and I'll ask Mr. Cooley to take care of this.
That's it. Once again, before the council, we have a appreciation for employees.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Pro Tem, basically, every year we try to put something in the budget to appreciate our employees. This year, Annalee came up with employee lunch boxes, came in a little more than we anticipated budget-wise, but we did have the money for it. She did hand these out. This was a purchase of $14,056.64. Recommend approval of the purchase. Again, it was a gift to the employees. They were appreciative of this information, or this cooler, lunchbox cooler, and it's recommended for you to see.
Make the motion.
Any discussion? If not, can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Yield back to the mayor.
Mr. Lovell, you have the final item?
Thank you, Mayor. As y'all recall from the work session, this is an AT&T easement for a 5G facility, small cell wireless one, located at the library property, and it is recommended by staff for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening?
I was trying to speak briefly.
You are welcome to step up to the podium, sir, and if you would give your name and your address for our clerk, please.
I'm Dan Williams, living at 12 Fauci Court, Cartersville, 30120. I just want to bring to y'all's attention and ask for help. I don't know what y'all are able to do, but October will be 4 years of being assaulted and tortured with directed energy radio frequency. I know this is not something y'all are used to talking about, Basically, Sheriff Clark Millsap has been personally aware of it for a couple years now, and he keeps telling me to take it to the federal level. He doesn't want to ever elevate it or call anybody for help. The other thing is, about a year after these symptoms started, I was told by a wealthy individual that I had borrowed money from, that he hooked me up to V2K, which is voice to skull, because I was late paying a loan back. Now the loan has been paid back, and there's no end in sight. They're still harassing me basically on a daily basis. I've lost customers, I've lost my family, I've lost my pickup truck, I've lost my motorcycle, I've lost pretty much everything, and they continue to disassemble my life by ongoing harassment. Basically what I'm saying is like recently I went and made another report at Bartow County Sheriff Department. The deputy himself actually told me that it's not domestic terrorism because I'm the only one being targeted. And this is over 3.5 years of sleep deprivation. Like, I only get to sleep if they allow me to sleep. This is over 3.5 years of crazy town, having to listen to garbage all day because I'm being targeted with the technology. So I'm just, basically wanted to make you all aware of it and see if there's anything y'all can do to help, because there really is no end in sight. And it's difficult to listen to. Also, I told the Sheriff Department over and over that I don't want anybody else to land in this situation, because it's basically a suicide weapon. It's basically the ability to automate human speech to talk you to your death. And so I'm just basically trying to bring awareness to y'all, and basically just ask if there's anything y'all can do. I don't know if you can talk to the sheriff, ask him why he refuses to elevate it to anybody. I mean,
I'm going to hold you up right there. Again, you're welcome to speak. One of the things I'd like to limit this to is, if you're going to address us and ask us for help, we'd like to not do that at the expense of somebody else's name or to make claims like that. So
sure.
I hope you understand and can appreciate that. But Mr. Lovell, did you have a question?
Sir, I understand your situation, but if my memory is correct, the property you named is located in Bartow County, is not within the city of Cartersville city limits. Is that
yes,
correct?
sir. I was at Jones Mill Road for 5 years,
Yes,
over 2 years of the torture. I've been in dialogue with Cartersville Police a few times. They 1013 me once in October.
Right.
But
so the remedies that you have, unfortunately, this is the mayor and city council of the city of Cartersville. Our jurisdictions really end at the city limits. We
Okay.
can't go beyond that.
okay.
Since you are a county resident, I think you have several options available to you. One, of course, is, as you've been trying to avail yourself of, the sheriff's office, and that hasn't been working out for you.
Right.
I would suggest you may want to contact the county commissioner's office.
I've spoken with Steve Taylor.
You also can contact your state representatives if you have or have not, because there are certain things that they can do. You can also contact your federal representative who can do things. And then lastly, if it is what you are claiming happens going on, you can contact the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the FBI, who could investigate these matters. What you're complaining of would be more under their jurisdiction than it is ours. I'm sorry you're having to go through this, though, sir.
I appreciate it. That's what I was just trying to bring to your attention, is that the GBI told me that the sheriff would have to include them, and he refuses to do any of that. So, but yeah, I appreciate y'all hearing me out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening? Jace, I think you had something you wanted to say.
So we're at the end?
Yes, we're there.
So
Calvin, nudge Jace over there, wake him up.
Did
Well,
you make
no.
a motion tonight?
Three things. One, the City of Cartersville and Cartersville Little League will be hosting 12-year-old state all-stars in a week out at ATCO, so come out and support them. Your 10-year-old...
I want to interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Because the team from Bartow County is going to be playing,
Representing
our entire community.
our
in that.
district. Yep.
And so I know that sometimes there's boundary lines and things, but they're kids in our community. We want to come out and support them while they're not having to travel as far.
Good save there. Thank you. The 10-year-olds won our district, so they, our Cartersville Little League 10-year-olds will be representing us at West Point this weekend coming up. We are District 1, actually. And the 11-year-olds are also, they won our district, so they'll be representing the city of Cartersville this weekend in Athens at the state tournament. So, pretty cool having two teams going to state, so that's nice.
Very nice. Outstanding.
And a huge thank you to the city of Cartersville. If you haven't seen Rudy York Field, go by and look at it. All new fencing, all new brick backsplash. It's really cool, really nice.
A lot of effort
From everyone.
by the volunteers with Little League who continue to invest deeply in our facilities as well. So we're appreciative of that. Belated thanks to our public safety folks and everybody with the city that had to work on Monday for things that were needed, while many of the rest of us were not working nearly as hard. And we had a great turnout for the 4th of July parade, which I thought was fantastic. Not as many communities do it in the past, and I think it's a source of pride that we still have that going here. And this weekend, Unity in the Community, it's the 2nd annual event. It'll be at Greater New Fellowship Church on Cassville Road from 10 until 1. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Unity in the community, just like we're talking about international and multicultural events this weekend, this seeks to focus on all the multitudes of things that we have in common versus that thin little layer that we tend to focus on that we might not be as, that might be different. So I just encourage you to come to that and have a great experience. That being said, anything else? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
State goal.
Gets me every time.